All right, so I'm joined once again by PD3, Pat Downey, after the announcement of his upcoming match on March 28th against Trent Hidlay. Welcome back, brother. How you been?
Hey man, thanks for having me back on. Good to be back.
Hell yeah, brother. So yeah, crazy match just happened over this past weekend with Arman and Georgio. So I definitely had to get your thoughts on it. I saw you commenting about it, but just to kind of like refer to your match real quick. Yeah, it just got announced right at RAF06. So you'll be returning. What's the numbered event for RAF? Is it 08, 07?
Yeah, it'll be 7 this month, 28th. So 4 weeks, give or take a couple days. 28th in Tampa is number 7. Yeah, it'll be technically my fifth. I've wrestled 3 matches. Um, Buchanan missed weight. There's a miscommunication, I guess, with him and his handler. But that's a big boy. He was never making that weight, so I'll probably see him sometime in the future at 215 again. I'm sure we'll get matched up. He'll come down a few pounds. I'll go up a few pounds because they changed the weights. You know what I mean? So Hidlay and I were scheduled at 205, but that match will be at 215 now. So
Okay,
it's
215
190 at
pounds.
215. Correct. Yeah, and their logic behind that is because you got the next Olympic leg coming up. So LA in 2028, we kind of want to abide by the Olympic weights, because you got all them tweener weights, whether it's 92 kilos or 70 kilos. Those guys got to make a decision, and I kind of fall in that tweener weight. I'm a 92 kilo guy right now, so especially under the UWW format, RAF's doing a great job of keeping us to those contingencies. Same day weigh in, similar weight class. You know what I mean? So I see their ideology and it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that is dope how they do the same day weigh-ins. It seemed to be a little confusing because they switched it, right, with that Buchanan
Yeah,
event to like the same day. But I heard Izzy's explanation for why they did that, and it makes sense to me. And you're saying that they're not
yeah.
doing non-Olympic weights. They switched it to the Olympic weights.
Yeah, well, Buchanan and I were it was always going to be same day weigh-in. But they had switched that before because they were doing day befores and then they switched it the same day. But that was always a thing. But now that you're correct, they're doing Olympic weights. So it's no more like 205s or 200s. It's 190 for me or 215 for me. So right now, 215 for me.
Got you. And that's for the world title against Trent Hidlay.
Trent Hidlay's the defending world champ, but no, Tazudinov and Kyle Snyder are for the Real American Freestyle title.
I
Now, the guy
see.
who just beat Buchanan, that was for the next title contender. Buchanan lost. I think he looked like he broke a rib. I've had that injury a few times, and that's exactly what it looked like out there. But I'm not a doctor. But that Georgian who beat him, tough world medalist, that guy's going to get the winner of Snyder and Tazudinov, which is also on March 28th. And then I would assume Hidlay and I, the winner of that one, would be you know what I mean, next in line to
In the
be the
conversation.
title contender. Sure, because he's a returning 92 kilogram world champ. I'm the Lizard King. I'm the Lizard King. So it would make sense that winner gets to that belt somehow, right?
Right. No, I agree with that train of thinking for sure. So how are you seeing this matchup play out with Trent? Have you even wrestled with him before, or you familiar with his game?
Sure. Yeah, I know he's coached by them really good guys. I've wrestled a bunch of them NC State guys throughout the tenure of my senior level career. It was funny. He actually shot me a picture of us together. Looks like it was 2019 at a Team USA camp when I was on the world team, and he looks like a little younger. He must have been a junior world guy then. But yeah, the boy. It's kind of reminds me of my match with Aaron Brooks, right? I might be Aaron Brooks' last domestic loss, but it's not the same kid I beat at 2021 Olympic trials. The boys turn into men, and now I've become the unk. So I'm 33. So you know what I mean. He's in his prime when I was on the world team, and I'm where I'm at. I came down here to South Florida to pursue the black belt in no-gi jiu-jitsu. If you remember, that was like you know, still is a primary concern of mine, but it's been put in the back burner because RAF has resurrected my wrestling career. Now I'm picked back up by the New York Athletic Club. They sent me to the World Team Trials after the first CJI, and they're going to send me to the U.S. Open. So a win here for me, it does a lot in terms of a barometer of where I am because I've wrestled some past world and Olympic champs in Yoel and Varner, but now I'm wrestling the current defending one. So great opportunity for me to I'd imagine I'd snatch that one seed at the U.S. Open, a victory here in March. You know what I mean? Puts me ready to be the number one seed in April. So, and I'll probably just go 97 kilos for that and start acclimating into that Olympic weight. So we'll see how this goes, you know. Everything goes according to plan though. You know, we'll be right back in there in that national team circuit.
Okay, that's dope. I'll be looking out for it. But this is actually also something with the RAF just kind of popping up out of nowhere, right? I don't even think we saw this coming at the beginning of last year around this time, or like maybe January of last year. I didn't see this coming, but this is something you've been speaking about for years, making wrestling mainstream, right? Every
Yeah,
weekend on some national television, not behind a
yeah,
paywall necessarily. I know it's behind a little paywall, but not as bad as
yeah.
that Flow paywall, you feel me? It's only like 2.99 a month or like 4.99 a
Dude,
month.
yeah. If you can't support wrestling with a little Fox subscription on
Yeah, I
that,
got
then
that
you
Fox
know.
subscription. Shit.
Me too. You get a lot
Yeah.
of you get a lot of content with that, you know.
Yeah.
You get a lot of fake news with that too, but it is what it is. So
Yeah.
it's it's
Facts.
mainstream media. It's mainstream media. Back to your point. This is the best thing that ever happened to wrestling in my whole lifetime. This is what I've been speaking on, you know, fantasizing about since a little boy because the WWE outlet isn't real wrestling, but this is like right up there with mainstream sports. And you see Hamzat tweeting about it. You see guys like Arman competing in it, Rockholds, you see Covingtons, you see all the big names, who's, and there's so many more, you know, that I couldn't even list off the top of my head that aren't even in the league that want to be. Jiu-jitsu, MMA, obviously wrestling. There's so many combat sports athletes that see the product and are totally enamored. And I tell everybody, it's like, you know, it's like being a part of a professional organization for real. It's the way wrestling should be done for professionals, you know?
Yeah. And that matchup with you and Joaquin, it's like now we get to see shit like this, which is pretty dope, honestly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's
Armand and
pretty cool.
Giorgio last weekend. So I'm enjoying it
Sure.
so far,
Right.
honestly. Yeah. It's
Right.
getting better
Yeah.
as the events go on, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw you just did the interview with him too. And I was wondering about that. The Giorgio Armand, that definitely stole the show as far as viral. I mean, usually after a weekend, my algorithm's showing me UFC knockouts and fights. This weekend it's showing me RAF, and I
I
just love
know.
it. You know,
Super
it's
sick
pretty
that
sick.
they basically outshine the UFC this weekend. That's what I'm saying. Like every weekend, they're doing better and better. So just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
I like how they're also making some more competitive matchups because earlier on it seemed to be some mismatches, but now they're getting
Mm-hmm.
closer with some of the matchups. I'm loving it.
Mm-hmm. A
Yeah.
side, B
Like
side. Yeah. Now
Giorgio
them
and
little coin flips.
yeah,
Yeah.
Giorgio and Muggsy, that was a cool match. And then Armand and Lance Palmer, that was a cool match. But I really
Mm-hmm.
liked the Giorgio and Armand match, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
Right. Yeah. Neither was attack. It was much more competitive. And you know, George is a lifelong wrestler. He like correct me if I'm wrong, but he's like a state champ or Ironman champ from Ohio, like one of the tougher wrestling states.
Right.
So I
He's
mean,
a
I don't know. Did he
freestyle
wrestle
champ,
next?
he's a folk style
He is.
champ, and then he's an
Yeah.
Ironman champ, all in high school.
So that's what I mean. I don't know if he took it to the next level or had any success, but he has some wrestling pedigree behind him. You know, that's Arman's second freestyle match ever. So pretty good for both sides. Pretty good for Arman being willing to put his brand on the line and step up in another guy's domain, and then come up victorious in pursuit of that, like while going into wrestling. And you know, it's like Arman's fighting coming into wrestling, and Georgie kind of turned the wrestling into a fight, you know, bringing the clubs from outside the shoulders and all the antics, you know, grabbing Arman's fingers and twisting, and then the eye pokes and the pushing. So
The extra
he,
time in between periods with the
all the
tape on the
antics.
fingers. Very
Oh
veteran
my
move. I
God.
was saying, I was like, I don't know what you
Trying to
want to
get out of the
call it.
match. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really thought after Arman finally had enough and retaliated with a slap of his own that the match was gonna. I'm like, oh, here we go. It's just not gonna get wrestled. Then Izzy came out, kind of dissolved the issue, and they continued. But yeah, I mean, you know, anybody that saw that kind of saw what George was trying to do, right? Like provoke Arman and like make win by no contest. I don't know.
Call
Maybe
it
he's trying
like
to do
a
a
veteran
lawsuit.
savviness. Call it like
Yeah, I don't
cheapskate. I
know.
don't know what you want to call it, but Giorgio pulled out all
Mhm.
the fucking tricks in this match. You got
Yeah,
to
for
give it to
sure.
him. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. And you know, still came up short against a guy that's only wrestled one freestyle match ever. So kind of shows why he, you know, probably doesn't have that next level success or any college acumen or senior level accolades, or you know, I saw him also say it's just why, because Armand goes, get taken down, you never give up takedown. He's never. So why you not Olympic champ? Ah, it's not my goal. And by that logic, why don't I got seven figures and debt free life? That's not my goal. Anything I never accomplished wasn't even my goal.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so give a fair play there. He's gotta kind of got to answer for everything. But I don't know. I think he's on some good vitamins because he seems to be all over the place. I saw your interview with him. You sent it to me yesterday.
Right. Yeah.
These people request me to wrestle this person, that person. Like, bro, you want me to go knock on his door and wake him up? Like, what do you like? What?
I guess the Pat Downey one. That's the main one people want to see, huh?
I don't really know anything about Pat Downey. I guess he had reached out to me a couple times. He actually ended up blocking me because I never replied. But Pat Downey, it's just like he unblocked me now because I had made a YouTube video about it. But and we met in person, and he was all cool with me, whatever. But Pat Downey, it just doesn't make sense for me to do the video with It's I would do it with him. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. But really, what's on the table for that for me, right? Like Pat Downey, he's got essentially no followers. He just wants some clout. Like I get nothing really out of that. When I'm versing a guy like Arman compared to Pat Downey, why would I choose Pat Downey when I can wrestle Arman? So there's just different things that go into it. But it's like I said, I'll do it with anyone and everyone, and that's what I stood by. Is there something about the Pat Downey thing that that I don't know about?
No, just I've seen him call you out a lot in the past too. And then I see people think that like Pat's the one to expose you to pay out
Where
the 1 grand.
where has Pat Downey called me out?
I think he's posted on his stories and maybe even commented on like your posts and stuff like that. Have you not seen?
I've seen a couple times he used to comment on my posts, but other than that, I never seen him make a post about me or anything. But I mean, I make my posts on social media, and that's it. I don't really check out what everybody else is doing.
I think it was more so like 6 months ago. He was more hell bent on the call out. I haven't really heard him say much about you over the last 6 months. So it's
Yeah, well,
nothing of late.
when you're in the hot spot, everybody's going to try and get attention from you.
Yeah, definitely for sure. So would you be like opposed to competing against Pat, or it just really hasn't worked out like where it's manifested itself?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. No, it just hasn't. The opportunity really hasn't been there. Like I said, come find me when I have the sign. Like, you want me to go to this dude's house, knock on his door, wake him up? I ran into Pat Downey at RAF a couple times. I ended up riding in his car with his buddy. Like, these people talk a lot of shit online, but when they see me in person, it's all love.
Mm. So even like when you guys kicked it, there wasn't much talk about let's run this match that I've been calling you out for.
No, not one mention of it.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I mean, if he did call you out, would you have ran it right then and there, like hypothetically?
On the mat,
Like if you, because you were kicking it with Pat, you guys were in the same car. If you were to be like, yo, let's run this video right now, like could you guys have ran it then?
it depends what situation we're in. We were at weigh-ins. We had a match that same day. So going straight into the match, like it wouldn't make sense for me to wrestle him right before my match.
Yeah, that would, I agree with you there. That wouldn't make too much sense. I was just curious because since you guys were together, but you guys were both competing on that weekend. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, are you friends with Pat Downey?
I've done interviews with him, but it's not
Should
like
we
I'm on his side or anything.
should we call him?
Do you want me to? I mean, we don't got to.
I mean, if you would like to call him, we can call him.
Do you have something to say to him? I mean, I haven't talked to him in a minute. Maybe I can call him on FaceTime.
We could ask him about his curiosity in wrestling me and what the call outs are about.
And yeah, so one hand he acts like he doesn't know me with the takedown challenge, but I showed you I DM'd him before asking to do the challenge and like how I commented on a video, hey, let a real wrestler try your challenge because you have like he even speaks that he's wrestled his whole life. Like, so you're gonna look really good against untrained civilians. That was my whole gripe. And then he spoke on me blocking him, which was funny because he like took it personally because it was like he was insinuating that I didn't like him. And like, dude, I block myself sometimes. Like I did an ad with Anaconda and you get these ads, or like maybe his marketing team does ads or something, but people that like annoy me, like spam, or like I keep seeing the same shit in the algorithm, I'll block it. Like I just did, I'll like I don't think anything of it. But then I saw he was on RAF and I unblocked the kid. And first reaction in real life, he comes up to me like, "Hey Pat, my cousin knows you, super cool. You know, he definitely knows who I am." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, we're half cousins. I'm in the family. You know, T Star's cool as hell. That's my girl." So, like he definitely knows me, bro. He wrestled a couple years younger than me in high school. So it's like one end he's like, "Hey, I don't do this for clout. I let anybody give the challenge." And then the other hand, he's like, "I need Arman, a bigger brand, to boost it." And I post on Tinder or Twitter or whatever these apps are, TikTok. He's like talking about how he's a influencer, so he wants clout and wants a big brand name, but then he says he'll let anybody do the challenge. Why can't I do the challenge? And my whole thing is like, you stole the challenge from my boy Dylan Palacio. Give credit where it's
Oh,
due. That's the original take me down for 1,000 guy.
okay.
Yeah, George just kind of blew up more with it, but I got so many people tagging me in his videos like, "Let Pat Downey try, let me try," and I finally am like, "Hey, I'll take you down, bro." So it's like, at this point, now that I've spoken on it to you publicly, if he doesn't accept the takedown challenge from me, he's just a bitch, right? Like,
Well, I mean, he did say he's down to run it with you, but it was like one of those weird
that's what
ones,
I
like you're
mean.
saying, because he goes like, "I'd be down to run it with Pat," but then it doesn't make sense for me because he doesn't have a lot of followers and like
How
nobody really
doesn't it make
knows him.
sense?
But
I'm a
then it's
senior
like,
level world team member. I'm a U.S. Open champ. Everybody knows me in the wrestling community, and I'm bigger than him. So there would be no excuse for anybody. This would be a way for him to put unequivocally, no doubt in anybody's mind, that he's legit and not getting taken down. And I'll one up it for him. He gives me 1,000 if I take him down. I'll give him 10 if I can't take him down. So 10 to
oh
1
yeah,
odds, George. 10 to 1 odds, George.
and
Now
that's
he's really
just
a bitch. Now he's really a bitch if you don't
yeah,
accept.
and that's
You know
just
what I
if
mean?
you don't take him down. 10K if you don't take
Yeah.
him down,
Yeah. I
but
can't take him
1K to
down.
you if he takes you
Yeah.
down, or if you take him
Yeah.
down.
Exactly. We run it. I don't know how long you get, a couple minutes or something. I don't know. You get a little circle. Obviously, you can't have the dude out and freaking running around from me, sprinting in a parking lot, or running from me on the beat. You got to have a little
Form a
way to
circle.
touch him. Yeah, get a little
Yeah.
circle or something. But then he goes on semantics too. He's trying to say he didn't get taken down against Armand. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, well, okay, before we get into the Armand thing, just to wrap it up with, like, you and Giorgio. So, yeah, I was saying how you've been calling him out, and I was kinda pressing him. Did you notice that he kinda, like, started pressing me back? He's like, "You friends with Pat? Like, call him right now."
yeah, I saw it. I
Yeah.
saw it. But that's just you knowing that like I would be a legitimate test for that challenge. You know
And
what
it
I
all
mean?
it comes from is we just wanna see how good Giorgio is. That's all it is, you know? It's not like there's
Mhm.
no, because I see you saying, like, people are hating, who say that I haven't wrestled anybody, and I'm not even of that logic of, like, you haven't wrestled anybody. I'm just like, you versus Pat, he's the one calling you out. There's this $1,000 take me down challenge. So I'm just kinda bringing
Yeah,
this to the forefront because the fans think you're the guy to expose him, and that's what I told him on the
yeah, I
podcast
heard you.
too.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, exactly. And I don't have a no hate on the guy. I'm just saying if you really let anybody do the challenge, like let me do the challenge. That's all.
Mhm. Yeah. What about this car situation? Like, you guys were in a car or something like that, and, like, everything's just cool with you guys, or because he mentioned that, and then I was like, "Damn, so you guys coulda just ran it right then and there?" And then he's like, "Well, we
Yeah,
had our
yeah,
matches coming up," and I'm like, "Well, that makes sense too." That all makes
yeah.
sense to me.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't trying to challenge them there on the spot of RAF. I'm like wrestling world and Olympic champs. I'm not trying to wrestle a guy shorter and smaller and lighter than me. I'm not challenging him to a freestyle match. I just don't think it would be competitive. But the takedown challenge is something that he's viral and known for that I think the fans would love to see. And back to your point with the car situation, his cameraman got sidetracked and me and my guy had a rental and we were just like, "Hey, we just finished our media or weigh-in, one of our little obligations that you have in the itinerary." And he was outside and I just said he can hop in on the ride back with us to the from the venue to the hotel.
Okay. So it's just some chill shit. You're being nice guy.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, George, you need a ride? You looking to get back to the room? We're going there." And he hopped in.
Okay, for sure. And I was gonna say too, oh yeah, who's this T Star? This is a female cousin of his or what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Tiffany. Yeah, it's his cousin. And then he knew I know her, and she's told me about him, and I didn't really understand who he was when she told me, and then once he said it. I put it all together, and then I ended up hitting her up about it. I was like, "Oh, I met your cousin. I get it now. I know, So we all know each other, and we keep it in the fam.
Okay. You guys I just have to ask this. You guys like dated or something or no?
Yeah, we just hung out, man. I've known her since we met on a cruise after I won Fargo. Yeah, on my 19th birthday, she was cool as hell there, and we both lived around each other and so close. So we kept in touch. We still keep in touch. She's cool.
Okay, got you. And the last thing about this whole take me down thing I think I got is somebody did press Giorgio at the press conference with Arman, and they were like, allegedly you've been taken down, and a lot of people have confirmed you've been taken down, but you have not
Yeah,
posted the footage. And you're on the inside of the whole wrestling scene. So have you heard any of these rumors or anything? Actually hadn't heard any of these rumors until that lady asked him. So I'm just relaying this to you to see if there's any validation there.
bro, that's not my loop. I'm not in the wrestler influence. You heard how Ben Askren talked about the match and his
Oh my
tactics.
God,
Like
Ben Askren was fucking. Oh
that's
my goodness
that's
gracious.
my line of thinking, man. The news I'm getting is like Sajulayev sign, and I'm looking at the world medalists. I'm looking at the
Okay,
ranking series. I'm trying to see who the new fresh meat is in the brackets of these weight. You know what I mean?
you're not
Dude,
asking has Giorgio been taken down
I
yet?
just don't even know the cat. I wouldn't. That's not my loop, dog. Like I don't know, man. I
Okay,
don't
for
know.
sure. Fair enough then. Fair enough. So we don't know. Could be cap. It could be real. I don't. But
Yeah,
I guess have you do you think he's doing it anymore? Because to be
I
honest with
promise you
you,
this. I promise you this.
yeah.
Everybody, every human alive has been taken down that wrestles. Okay.
Oh yeah, I was gonna. Okay, so two things I just want to mention about this, but the one thing I was just asking is like, do you think he still does it? Because for some reason I get the vibe that the take me down challenge is done with. Like he doesn't run it anymore. I was kind of
Oh,
scrolling through
really?
the IG and they look like they're all kind of like older videos because he got like longer hair now and shit. So just
Gotcha.
kind of like off the first top of my head, I was like, oh, it seems like these are like maybe from 6 months ago. Like he hasn't really filmed a new one as of late. Do you know if he's
Yeah.
still doing it,
Again,
or again, you're
I
paying attention to
wouldn't even know,
UWW?
man. Yeah, I wouldn't even know. Like the only times I knew about him doing it was when people would tag me in him doing it, and then I would respond on the video or DM him. I'd be
Mm,
like, "Hey, let me do it," or like I'd see it and I'd be like, "Hey, nice, let me get a try." But that was the extent of like my involvement.
okay. And I did want to mention to you because maybe a lot of people are wondering, I think you might be one of them, about his accolades in college. So let me just lay it out real quick just to kind of like let you know about him a little bit. So apparently he went to Cleveland State University. He competed his true
Oh, he did?
freshman year.
Was
Yeah, he
that
did.
D1?
I believe
That's
it's
D1 double
D1.
A?
Yeah,
I
D1.
think so.
Because this is what he went on to tell me is that he competed his true freshman year, and then I looked it up, and it is a negative record. But I don't think that's that bad because, competing as a true freshman is pretty, tough in its own right, no?
Yeah, dude, D1 wrestling's hard anywhere.
As a fresh 18-year-old, I mean, yeah, it's pretty tough. So it's not like I'm looking down on him for even having a negative record his freshman year, but I see a lot of people are shitting on him for that. But then he redshirted his sophomore year, and then he competed, and then he dropped out his junior year of college altogether to pursue like being a fitness influencer, and then it kind of morphed into being a wrestling influencer type thing. But one last thing I want to mention about it is his true freshman year, he tried to qualify for the NCAAs, but in his finals match, he went up against Marsteller. Marsteller is real good, and Marsteller beat him. So he wasn't able to compete in the NCAAs his true freshman year. So that's kind of his story. He didn't qualify for the NCAAs, but he did compete his true freshman year. It was a negative record. And then he redshirted sophomore year, lost passion for wrestling, and dropped out junior year. So that's the Giorgio kind of like lore, if you will.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, D1 wrestling. It's not everybody.
Just a minute. You've forgotten your phone.
The hell?
Weird. Did you hear that? The car.
I did hear that.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
I had to
So
unplug
not
some.
much thoughts on Giorgio's like wrestling collegiate career.
Yeah, I mean, dude, college wrestling is very hard. One of the hardest things I've ever done. Yeah. Qualifying for the NCAA tournament, getting degrees, becoming an All-American, you know, me having all these fail, I still call my college career a failure. So who am I to judge another man's path.
Yeah. Yeah, I respect Georgio's college career, to be honest with you. It was a tough one, but hey, that's the story for everybody. Not everybody can be NCAA champs. You feel me? Did
Yeah,
you
there's
redshirt
so
at
many
all
other
in
things to
college?
go on too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Olympic red shirt, gray shirts, injury red shirt. I had a hell of a career.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that, like, to put it in perspective, it's like if you do compete your true freshman year, then, there's a chance you're going up against like some 25-year-old, like fucking Starachi or
Oh
some
yeah.
shit by the time he graduated. So just to put in perspective for
Oh
people.
yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's a tough
It's
thing.
gotten even crazier. Yeah, the COVID year, you got oh yeah, there's so many
A bunch
loopholes.
of shit. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. The COVID adds another year to it.
Facts.
Okay, so when it comes down to the match, now there's quite a bit with this match, and I wanted to kind of get your breakdown because you are the expert. And I was actually doing a stream last night, and just to start it off with one of the most controversial things is the takedown. Speaking of the take me down challenge, Giorgio, did he get taken down? Did he not? Was Arman out of bounds? Apparently, there's this stuff about the if you initiate the shot inbounds and it's a continuous shot or something, and you land out of bounds, it still maybe counts. I don't know. You're the
Yeah,
expert. So please inform
yeah,
us about the full color of this situation with the takedown and if Arman took him down officially or not, because the score table didn't give him the 2 points. They gave him one fair push out.
yeah. I saw that. The official awarded two, and then the score guys, the judges agreed on one. So it wasn't officially ruled a takedown. You know what I mean? And that's the nature of freestyle wrestling. That's why you have a few judges because you're scoring stuff in live, which means it's open to interpretation. You and I could see the same event and witness it differently. You know what I mean? So it's open to interpretation. It's why they have the reviews in UWW. And obviously, we're doing live television with RAF. So I don't think the challenges are the best route. But the judges, the refs, could do a better job of being so haste and kind of formulating an opinion together amongst themselves of what actually transpired so they could do it in a more efficient manner that gives you an accurate score. You know what I mean? Because with Jordan Oliver, they're calling these push outs, they're calling them white paddles, which means they're saying it's floor, their ground opponent, no push out. But Jordan's like, hey, you guys just gave us a meeting that says we're on UWW rules. UWW saying there is only pushouts, which quite literally means anytime you go out of bounds, it's a point. Whether you're down on your knees, your toe, you know what I mean? There was another situation that transpired where they got a call wrong and didn't award a pushout. But we're all human and open to interpretation. So I mean, they see it and they call it the best they can live. You know what I mean? But back to your point, Armand started that shot in bounds. He got in on that leg attack in bounds. So for Giorgio not to give up a 4 or a 2 because of continuation, he's continuing that move. They allow you the grace to finish your action, even if you step out in the middle of that action, whether you're in the middle of executing a throw or a double leg, whatever the action is that you've started, you're allocated continuation. So the onus is on the defensive player. In this example, the onus is on George to not fall to his butt, to stay up on his feet out of bounds, to not let his back touch. Because in theory, they could have called that 4 as well, feet to back. Again, that's the interpretation. It could have been called 4, could have been called 2, but in that time, the judges agreed to call the 1 push out. But I do think it was a takedown for sure.
Okay, so you're of the train of thinking that it was a legit takedown and it should have been
Yeah,
scored for 2 or even 4.
yeah, because of continuation. Armand clearly started the whole attack inbounds.
Okay. And there's none of this thing about you got to have 1 foot in bounds like the NFL or something when you catch a pass. As long as
No,
you started the shot and it's a
yeah,
continuous shot, you can
yeah.
essentially kind of like leap out of bounds to take him down.
Watch Yoel and I match. At the first exchange, I'm thinking it's 1 point me or 1 point him because I do a whole cartwheel out of bounds to make sure I don't expose because of continuation. And they still ended up awarding him 4, which
Yeah, I
I
saw
didn't agree
that.
with. And then I watched it over and I still didn't agree with it. I did a breakdown on it. You know what I mean? So it's again, it's open to interpretation. And sometimes you're on the good side of the call and sometimes you're not. You just got to keep wrestling through it. And, I got to do a better job of that myself. I lost my head at the World Championships and I kind of lost my composure in that match with Yoel because of those calls. It changes the way you got to wrestle. And now I'm like, locked in on trying to get a 4 point move back against one of the hardest guys to throw in the world. You know, he's just so positionally sound. You saw how Buchanan wrestled him. You want to get leg attacks, get below his knee. You want to be finishing. You want to wrestle a high attack rate. You don't want to be hand fighting and sitting in control ties with this guy. So again, that open to interpretation is a big part of freestyle. You know.
Yeah. Okay, so also to kind of like conclude that whole takedown thing, Giorgio, even if they went out of bounds, he should have, because he did have a whizzer. So almost another option to save yourself on giving up points for a takedown is to, run that whizzer and go belly down, as they fell out of
Yeah.
bounds. But instead, he
Yeah,
did go to
hard
his back.
Uchimata, hard whizzer kick, exactly. Hip down and just concede the one convincingly. You do what you can to show it's not a takedown or not a 4-point move.
Okay, fair enough. And then also, going back a little bit in the match, man, I predicted this. I've seen Giorgio's fucking take me down challenges. Homie does club. He's a very physical wrestler, heavy collar ties. So I had to ask him because I knew Arman was not gonna take that shit. And I had a feeling it
Right.
was gonna happen like that. And so Giorgio's like, if he wants to slap me, I'm gonna punch him. Arman seems to get a bit chippy at times. Like in his last grappling match with ACD, he like ended up slapping his opponent or something or like kneeing him. Obviously, he like headbutted Dan Hooker and like punched a fan and stuff. So you expecting any chippiness in this match, or like, is this news to you?
No, actually, I got a lot of comments, people saying stuff like that. This is what I'll say: if he gets chippy with me, I'm gonna hand it right back to him. I don't play that shit. If he wants to slap me, I'm gonna punch him in the face. That's that. Listen, I don't take shit from nobody. You know, if he wants to start playing dirty, man, I'll play dirty right back. I don't take shit from nobody.
So this shit was, chippy from the start before it even happened. But the
Yeah.
match gets started, and just kind of curious about your consensus about all of it. But like, what was, because here's the thing, right? Giorgio, he comes out. In my opinion, he's doing a lot of collar tying. I don't think there's any clubs yet. But then, there was one collar tie that kind of like rubbed down Arman's face, and that seemed to piss him off, which prompted the
Well,
slap.
they were like slaps, bro. And I'll tell you
Yeah.
this, from UWW perspective, you have to engage contact from inside the shoulder line. The second you bring it out here, you're coming from the hip with it, like he was, and those eye pokes and then the finger twisting. All those antics are going to get you cautioned out of a match in real wrestling. You can't do that shit. Arman wrestles with high level guys. Like I said, you see how the fighter came to approach the wrestling match. You see how the fighter was making contact. Now, if Georgie was signed up for MMA, that's all good. But he doesn't want that against Arman. He signed up to wrestle Arman. So, you got to do a better job of portraying our sport. You're supposed to be this lifelong wrestler. This guy's wrestled one freestyle match ever. He's gracing you. He's got the bigger following and the brand, and he's coming into our sport. The least you could do is accurately represented. I hope because Arman really did a good job of staying composed and getting the victory. And then he got his lick back. You know what I mean? Then he got his lick back. So I hope RAF doesn't look down on that and gives him the opportunity to wrestle a guy that will accurately depict how the sport's supposed to be done. A high level champ like David Carr, somebody like that is a good opponent. And I don't think Arman's beating a guy like that. But if he takes the match, super respect. And there's a lot of other good matches. Arman doesn't have to wrestle one of the best in the world to prove he's legit. He's already done that. He just beat the guy who's wrestled his whole life. So he's legit. Arman has my respect. And he alluded to the fact that RAF should give another belt for guys that are like the BMF belt type of situation. So that'd be really cool to see too.
Okay, for sure. So, with Arman slapping him, you think it was warranted? Because let's read your
So worth it.
let's see your reaction to it. I saw Red Corner collabed with you. So you said, this is why quote unquote gimmick wrestlers have zero respect. Dude is doing everything not to wrestle. SMH. Great job keeping your composure. It was obvious his only plan was to provoke you and hope you get disqualified. Arman all class, hashtag respect. And then you go, okay, I may have spoken a little too soon, but that fucker deserved it.
Yeah. I mean, I did. I spoke a little too soon, right?
Yeah, you tweeted that as soon as the match ended, and boom, he fucking decks him.
Match wasn't even over. I said it. It was just starting the begin. Like it was halfway through the end of the third, and then it happened no less than a minute later. I was like, wow.
Yeah. But he deserved it then, I guess, huh? Because I don't know. Let me just keep it a buck with you. Maybe I have to go back and replay the tape about the outside the shoulders. But when Arman slapped him, I thought Arman started it by slapping him. And then I thought that
No, that
Georgio,
was
that opened
Arman.
up the floodgates for Georgio to start getting physical. But tell me what you think.
No, he had held in 2 retaliations prior. That was like the third and final. He was like, all right, I'm no more bullshit. That was Arman's retaliating too.
So as you were watching it in that first period before the slap, you're like, oh, Giorgio, he breaking some
I
rules here.
immediately knew. I was like, oh, this fucking influencing piece of shit is trying to get Arman disqualified. It's clear. I was like, he knows the dude's got a temper. He knows he's a fighter. He's trying to like not wrestle the match.
Mm-hmm. All right. Fair enough. Did you see Henry Cejudo kind of tell Giorgio that he didn't fuck with what he was doing either, that he was wrong too?
Did he?
That shit is done. Wrong or right, you did fucking club him. And I get it.
First.
I get it. I get it, but rewatch it and be honest. And I'm being fucking honest with you.
I'm clubbing, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but he did too.
First.
He did too. He did too.
Like,
I was just telling your dad, yeah, it's unfortunate your dad got fucking hit. Keep the emotions aside. How can you make more money and build your brand new? Your mentality. I'm just gonna tell you the truth. That's it, bro. Whether you or your older brother, your younger brother gets offended, I just gotta tell you the truth. Or your dad, and correct me if I'm fucking wrong.
I wrestled to win, but he pulled out slapping me
And I love that. And you're getting away with shit because it's real American freestyle. If it was regular freestyle, they fucking disqualify you and him.
They should have disqualified.
Yeah,
No,
he
I
was like,
didn't
you
see
guys
that,
are
but
both
good on
wrong. You would have
Henry,
been kicked
man.
out.
Henry's the realest one. Yeah, Henry's gonna keep it a buck. He said, what do you say? You'll get kicked out if you do that?
He's like, if it was the real UWW, you both would have been disqualified. Like, stop the bullshit.
Yeah, like that's not wrestling. I mean, what are we even talking about? Why watch every other match? I mean, watch any match. I'm not saying that wrestling that doesn't happen. In wrestling, watch wrestling that happens. That's common. Motherfuckers get chippy. Hand fighting turns into slapping and punching.
Right. And you will see that the referees on the USA wrestling scene, they are a lot more like, we're going to cut that off immediately. We're not playing over
Yeah.
here. But there was entertainment
Not playing.
involved with RAF, which is why they let it play out longer, huh?
Yeah, and they
'Cause they got a duty
finish
to the
match. They want
fans.
to win it. And they don't want to disqualify the guys. And what would happen then? Nobody gets paid. Nobody knows a winner. I don't know. I don't know how that could have ended. But I'm glad Izzy came out and mediated through him. He's a super professional. Dude's really good at connecting to people, and he's just a good dude. He's a perfect guy for that role. And I remember when they first called me about it around CJI, I had already committed, and I was like, maybe it's best I don't do this first one, because you hear a lot about these leagues and stuff, and you don't know if something's legit until you see it. And then boom, after the first 2 shows, Fox signed a 38 extension or 28 match extension. It's #1 on Fox Nation, and I'm like, oh yeah, this thing's here to stay. We got a legit product. So these guys are quite literally the best thing that ever happened to the sport.
Okay. I got 2 more good ones for you. So let me just get these out the way real quick and then I'll let you go. I just want to ask about Bo Nickal though. You did offer to compete against him when that whole weight miss happened with Buchanan, and then Bo Nickal kind of turned it down. I would just like to ask, did that piss you off a little bit, rub you the wrong way, or do you understand where Bo Nickal's coming from with that? Do you think it's a little soft?
To address RAF05 last night, phone's been blown up. Friends, family, fans. I got pulled from the card last minute. Controversy with Stephen Buchanan missing weight 21 over, and then miscommunication between his handler and RAF. And I guess he was under the assumption that it was a heavyweight or unlimited match, even though the graphic said light heavyweight. And I was cutting weight down to 205. I'm like, damn, this mug looks big for light heavyweight. But Yoel missed weight. Apparently he had to get an IV earlier in the week, and I guess Yoel and Buchanan were the closest in size. And Bo says, nah, I don't want to wrestle Yoel. He's 7 over. They don't even offer me the Buchanan match. I'm one of the first ones to weigh in. I didn't even realize all this was going on. 90 minutes after weigh-ins, I'm horizontal in my bed, trying to get some recovery in. And Chad and Izzy come and let me know my match is off. First thing I do is say, hey, me and Bo can wrestle. Both of our opponents miss weight. Bo and I are the same weight. Makes sense. Let's save this match. We both came here to wrestle. Let's just get this match. But Bo said no, man. He declined to wrestle me and Yoel. So, Y'all can ask him what his thoughts are on that, why he didn't want to wrestle. But you know me, I'm game. I'm down to wrestle. So with that being said, thank you RAF for still giving me my money. Yes, they gave me my show money, and this might kill you haters, but they gave me my win money. It's one of the most professional organizations on the planet. And all you goofy pocket watchers, I don't know what it is, whether I'm getting 1,000, 100,000, a million. I don't know what difference it makes to you. So never been that guy to be in another man's pockets. But yes, I did get paid, which is very cool because I made weight and handled this totally like a professional.
What's your thoughts on that?
No, yeah, dude, guys protect their brands. They prepare properly for one opponent. He wants his own camp for his opponent, whether it's me or Yoel. I thought it was soft him not wrestling Yoel. Yoel just wrestled me, gotten sick, had an IV. He's almost 50 years old. He's a few pounds overweight. Wrestle the dude. But then you don't want to wrestle me, who's actually on weight, who also is out of an opponent. So you and I are quite literally the same weight. We could just wrestle. But then we both get our show money. He's like, hey, we did our jobs, Pat. It's not on us. And I see his side too. So he's a smart kid. He knows what he's doing.
Okay. Would you have taken that match against Yoel if all that bullshit went down, or
Yeah, bro. I'm
you
definitely
would have taken
wrestling
it?
Yoel. I'll wrestle him again. Yeah. What do you mean? It's Yoel Romero. I'm wrestling him. What the hell?
Yeah. You think RAF is kind of like, you think that might have rubbed RAF the wrong way, like him kind of like stealing a
Well,
bag without
I'm glad they
competing?
took the belt from him. I'm glad they took the belt from him, but I don't know, man. They love Bo. They love Bo still. I don't think it's like anybody taking it personally, because again, he's a smart guy. He explained his perspective to them too. It's not like you can't see both sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm. Got you. All right. And the last thing I got for you then, because, I think you are still training jujitsu. So this is a prominent topic in jujitsu right now, and I think it needs to be spoken on. And I think you might be the guy to speak on it a little bit, or one of the guys. But, in jujitsu, we're
Mm.
seeing it, a lot of women coming out with accusations, and you are innocent until proven guilty, but there are some damning accusations, like that one guy who apparently fled to Australia. Now you got Andre Galvao, dealing with some
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Isaac.
allegations.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. Prominent names, big well-known figures with good acumen and accolades that are doing this heinous shit, I mean, I don't know the details, but to me, it just sounds like these guys are kind of in a position of power with their belt system and their pedigree, and they're kind of using that to, take advantage of people, and it's fucked up. There's no way around it. I don't care what your religion is or your belief system is. Everybody has, some type of understanding between right and wrong. You know what I mean? Good and bad. So I think we're fighting, you know, Satan, the devil on earth, whether it's the Epstein files, the elites, the baby fucking, the it's all hell on earth. We're fighting the synagogues of Satan. We're fighting demons here. We have a live battle of good versus evil, and the best thing the devil's ever done was convince the world it doesn't exist. So it takes good, strong men to stand up and nip that shit in the bud and hold motherfuckers accountable. Guys not doing anything, guys turning the blind eye. You might not be the perpetrator yourself, but to not call out bad shit, to just sit idly and watch bad shit is just, you're just as bad because you're condoning it. Inadvertently, you're condoning it and you're co-signing on it. So, yeah, if I ever saw that shit happening, it wouldn't stand by me. I don't believe in that, and that stuff has no place in wrestling or jujitsu. And there's quite a bunch of motherfuckers on the weirdo list for safe sport violations with wrestling, and maybe that's what happens with jujitsu now. Maybe they get some type of entity to come in and oversee these power dynamics to kind of change the culture. I don't know.
Mhm.
Just a
Okay.
thought.
Yeah, it's a odd one. The thing I would kind of say about
Can you say that again, please?
well, I don't know how to say it, but I guess with the coaches and stuff, it's kind of a weird one because you have a lot of men coaching women. And I don't know, a suggestion I have is like maybe, let's have women coach women. Even in jujitsu, you take it a step further and the women can train with the men in the same room. And that seems to be
Right.
opening the door for some of these issues. So you might want to start isolating the women a bit more, maybe start
Right.
letting women get coached by other women. That might be a start as well. But women rolling with men and then getting coached by men,
I
it's
agree.
kind of opening up this little gray area.
Yeah, I know, man. It's fucking it's weird too because I don't really even roll with women. I'm
I
never
know,
been
right?
competitive
As a grown ass
professional.
man, it would
So
feel kind of weird to roll with a woman.
yeah, I don't. So I mean, that's just how I avoid it entirely. So I don't. There could be no misinterpretations for funny business. I'm on the mats. It's like I'm at work.
Mm-hmm. Got you. All right, Pat. Well, that's all I got for you today. So I appreciate the time, and then good luck in your match on the 28th of March, and hope you stay healthy in training as well.
Sorry. Hey, broke up.
Oh,
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm driving. It was a great time. Always a pleasure catching up with you, brother.